Hi and a very warm welcome. You're listening to Crime Tales. I am Subbu. Case 1, The Obsessed Lover, Episode 2. Anushka, Varun's wife, lies lifeless in the living room, and outside the door, Priya rings the bell. Varun finds himself in a nightmarish situation. He quickly drags Anushka's body and shoves it under the sofa before opening the door. Priya rushes in and hugs him tightly. Varun is overwhelmed. He has always wanted this closeness with Priya, but the timing couldn't be worse. He doesn't want her here, not now, not with Anushka's dead body hidden beneath them. Yet Priya walks in, and he cannot refuse her. Priya sits on the sofa, directly above Anushka's body. Aarav has left me, Varun. I don't want to see him again. I'm so scared. So scared, Varun. She cries, resting her head on his chest. A wave of excitement runs through Varun. He runs his hand through her hair, reassuring her that she has done nothing wrong. Don't ever buckle under the guilt or think you've done anything wrong. You have been wronged, Priya. I will stand by you, no matter what. I will stand by you. Varun whispers into her ears. Can I stay here with you tonight? Priya asks. Varun hesitates. This is what he always wanted. The opportunity he worked so hard for. But how can he let her stay with Anushka's body still in the house? He needs to come up with a plan to stop her from staying. Don't take this wrong way, Priya. I would have no objections to you being here. Whenever you had problems, anything at all, you always came to me and that made me happy. But right now, Aarav, he's thrown these allegations at you. If he ever finds out you are here, he will turn around and accuse you of something that's totally false, using me against you. Varun reasons with Priya. It works. With a caring attitude, Varun drops Priya at her home. Take rest. Be calm, Priya. You'll tide over the storm. Take a day off tomorrow from work and be strong, will you? Priya nods and just hugs him tight. He caresses the back of her head softly. His hand moves to her back. He can feel the warmth of her body against his. You are now mine, Priya. You were always mine. He mutters to himself. As she disengages from the long embrace, she looks at Varun, her eyes meeting his. Thank you for being with me always, Varun. A victorious feel runs through Varun as he walks back to his flat. But then, suddenly fear grips him. Anushka, what do I do with her dead body? Back at his flat, he stares at Anushka's lifeless form, considering various ways to make her disappear. He paces up and down, wondering what should he do now. How do I make this body go away? What should I do? And then he stops suddenly. He rushes into his bedroom. He pulls out the biggest suitcase he has from the top of the cupboard, brings it to the front room. Scared but determined that he has to get rid of Anushka's body, Varun drags her body out from beneath the sofa. He now picks her up and puts her into the suitcase. But she doesn't fit into the suitcase. How do I fit her in? He sits looking at her body, then he gets up. With full force, Varun bends Anushka's legs. He puts all his strength in bending her legs, trying to fit her body into the suitcase. The crackling sound, the breaking of her bones, scares him. The body now fits into the suitcase. He has bent both her legs. He brings her hand and fits it over her stomach. He now zips up the suitcase. It's done. Now what? He again starts pacing the room, thinking where should he dispose of the suitcase with her body. He has hit upon the plan. This will work, he mutters to himself. He quickly rushes to the kitchen, brings down the nylon ropes where he dries his clothes. From the bedroom, he picks up a white plain bedsheet. Putting all of it in a rucksack, Varun now comes and straightens up the suitcase. It's heavy. He pulls it along with the wheels and moves out of his flat. The watchman at the lobby is fast asleep when Varun leaves, dragging the suitcase towards his car in the parking lot. He loads the suitcase in the back and drives off. He keeps driving away from the city, onto the highway. Far from the city, he reaches the banks of a river. He knows exactly what to do with the body. At the river bank, lonely and dark, Varun lays out the bedsheet and gathers heavy stones from the river's edge. He places Anushka's body on the sheet, ties stones around it, and wraps her in the bedsheet, securing it tightly with the ropes. Finally, he drags the body to the river and submerges it. The stones work as planned, and the body sinks into the water. Varun watches from the bank until Anushka's body has completely disappeared beneath the surface. Driving back home, Varun's mind is consumed with the plans to explain Anushka's disappearance. She came to my flat in Ahmedabad, that would be evident. But then where did she leave for? Where did she go? His mind is racing to figure out how should he make her disappearance look real, masking her death here in Ahmedabad. Manish. Manish is the one who has killed her. I got it. Manish is the killer. He feels jubilant about the plan that's working out in his mind. Brilliant. That's really brilliant. Varun whispers to himself, looking into the mirror. Anushka came to Ahmedabad, handed me the divorce papers, and then she left for Bangalore to meet Manish, her boyfriend. He rehearses. Yes, that's what happened. He's thrilled with his plotting on how to get away with Anushka's murder. He calls up Shivani Mishra, the call girl, who's at his beck and call. There is a new rule for her that he has now planned. What do I have to do now, Varun? Shivani asks. Varun quietly thrusts a fat envelope in her hand. She looks into the envelope. Wow, this must be somewhere around 50,000, I guess. She smiles. It's exactly 50,000, he replies. Varun takes out a photo of Anushka from his pocket. Go to a parlor. Get your hair done exactly like this girl. Tell them it's your friend. You need to get your hair done exactly like her. Shivani looks at the photo. Who's she? She asks. That's none of your business, Shivani. Just do as I say. I'm paying you. Tonight you're not staying in the lodge. You will be with me at my flat. Shivani smiles. So you want to make love to me, thinking I am this girl? Is that it? Is she the new Priya in your life? Varun is enraged, but he controls his anger. This is something else, Shivani. Don't bring Priya into this. Just do as I say. That night at his flat, Varun briefed Shivani on what she has to do now. He takes out a train ticket. It's booked in the name of Anushka Kashyap. You are traveling to Bangalore tomorrow morning, Shivani. Here is the train ticket. He hands it to her. So I have become Anushka Kashyap now. Who's she? Don't bother about that, Shivani. Your cab from here to the railway station is booked. Now after you reach Bangalore, Shivani interrupts him. What if they ask for an ID on the train? They never do these days. They only ask your name, and your name is Anushka Kashyap. Now after you reach Bangalore, you'll book yourself into a lodge. This is the name of the lodge. It's close to the Bangalore station. Varun hands her a paper outlining the entire plan of what she has to do in this trip to Bangalore. This is the phone that you will be carrying with you, Shivani. Varun hands her a phone. I guess this is Anushka Kashyap's phone, Shivani asks. Yes, you're right. You need to keep the phone on all through, but don't pick up any calls. Not a single call, understood? Shivani nods her head in the affirmative. Varun takes out another piece of paper. You need to send messages from this phone. These are the messages. Shivani reads the messages. Messages to a Manish. Who's this Manish? She asks. Shivani, who, why is not a question you're supposed to ask. I'm paying. You just send these messages. Manish's number is stored in Anushka's phone. Just send the messages. Now Manish will definitely call back after reading the messages. What you have to do is pick up his phone. Just his calls. But not talk. Not one word. Let it go on for a minute or so every time he calls. Shivani laughs. I get it. You want to make it look like he called and spoke to me. Yes, you're smart, Shivani. But when I check into the lodge, they will ask for an ID, won't they? Asks Shivani. Yes, they will. Varun gives her Anushka's identity card. Shivani looks at it. I do look a bit like her, Varun, but a closer look will give away that it's not me. No one looks too close. And it's a lodge where it doesn't matter to them. They'll have a cursory look and then just make a copy of it. And even if they ask anything, which they won't, but still, you can always see this was made 10 years back. Varun now draws Shivani's attention to the plan after she has checked in at the lodge in Bangalore. After reaching Bangalore, you'll send this message to Manish. Shivani reads the message. Manish, I am at 12th Crossroad. Pick me up at 7 p.m. What then? Asked Shivani. You need to walk out of the lodge, leaving this bag there. Varun points to a small suitcase. It's the suitcase that Anushka had brought along with her. This is your flight ticket. He hands her a flight ticket that's booked in Shivani's name. You just board the flight back to Ahmedabad. The job is then done. Okay. And after reaching Ahmedabad? She asks. Get back to the lodge where you're staying. He replies. Isn't my job over now, Varun? Haven't you got Aarav out of Priya's life? She asks. Almost. Almost there, Shivani. I'll pay for your stay here along with your fees. When things are sealed with Priya, then you can get back to Delhi and your prostitution business. Until then, you're booked with me. Early next morning, Varun uses Anushka's phone to book a cab for Shivani to travel to the railway station. Shivani leaves as planned. With Anushka's digital footprints laid out using Shivani, Varun moves to the next phase of Mission Anushka. He calls Anushka's parents Vineet and Naina Sachdev in Delhi. Varun has always been close to them and now gives them a sob story about how Anushka handed him divorce papers and left for Bangalore to be with Manish. Varun, all this has been happening, you're telling us about it now? Anushka's parents are shocked to hear about the divorce and Anushka's affair with Manish. Papa, I didn't want you or Ma to get hurt. I told Anushka several times that we should be telling you everything, but she wasn't ready for it. Even now, I realized that she must have not called you, so I myself thought I'll break this news to you. Varun cries over the phone. Papa, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. That Manish is not a good guy. But then, I couldn't convince Anushka. I couldn't control her. I feel very guilty that I couldn't do anything. No, Varun, beta, don't cry. We'll talk to Anushka. We'll ensure that she doesn't do anything stupid like this. Please, Papa. Please talk to her. Please. I love her, Papa. She's like a child. She doesn't understand what's right and what's wrong for her. Please talk to her, Papa. Cleverly, Varun convinces Anushka's parents that Manish is a bad influence, someone who's out to ruin Anushka's life. Anushka's parents, who have always had a soft spot for Varun, buy into his story, seeing Manish as the villain. Varun's plan goes off without a hitch. Shivani travels to Bangalore and follows Varun's instructions to the letter. Manish panics, calling Varun to ask where Anushka is. She left for Bangalore to meet you. That's what she told me. Varun shouts into the phone, feigning shock. But she wasn't there where she told me to pick her up. Manish cries. Have you done something to her? Varun asks, pretending to be horrified. Manish is enraged that Varun would accuse him of such a thing. Varun continues to act concerned, accusing Manish, while secretly thrilled that his plan is working. With Anushka out of the way, Varun turns his focus back to Priya. After 3 days spent on Mission Anushka, he now needs to cover up his absence to Priya. Cleverly, he reveals to her that while she was going through the turmoil in her marriage, he was facing his own crisis. Varun's next plan of action is to disclose his own marital discord to Priya. He has rehearsed thoroughly how to present a picture of trauma in his life. You're married? Why didn't you ever tell me that, Varun? Priya is shocked. What could I have told you, Priya? My marriage was falling apart. While all this was happening with you, Anushka came and handed me divorce papers before leaving for Bangalore. You were already going through so much. I didn't want to discuss my life with you. Varun, I'm so sorry. Priya holds him tight. You were going through so much pain yourself, yet you stood by me. I can bear any pain for your sake, Priya. I hate seeing you in pain. Priya is overwhelmed. It's a double victory for Varun. His pathos-filled story brings Priya closer to him. She sympathizes with him, feeling they are both in the same boat. Varun is now just a step away from proposing to Priya, who has already made up her mind to divorce Aarav. Varun prepares for his next move. He needs to seal the deal and make Priya see his love for her. I want to take you out for dinner tonight, Priya. Is that fine with you? He rehearses in front of the mirror. Priya, when two people are in pain, pained by the treachery of the ones they believe to be their life partners, then somewhere, the pain that has brought these two people together says something. You know what? It says, you two are destined to be together. It's nature, it's destiny that has brought you people together. It used the root of pain, the sharing of the pain, to unite both of you. See, Aarav cheated you. Anushka cheated me. You and I, it's not just that we are in the same boat. It's destiny that has brought us to each other once again in life. It's destiny's way of saying, you two are the ones chosen to be each other's life partner. Varun smiles looking at himself. Priya, will you marry me, Priya? In his imagination, he visualizes making love to Priya, picturing the happy life they will have after they get married. The first step of his plan works. Yes, Varun, I would love to go out for dinner with you. Priya responds very warmly to Varun asking her out. The stage has been set. All it now needs is for him to put on his charm and propose to Priya. Varun is getting ready to leave. He once again rehearses everything he wants to tell Priya. And just as he's about to leave, Priya calls. Varun, is it okay with you if we have dinner at my home? She asks. Why has she suddenly changed the plan? Wonders Varun. Yes, of course, Priya. It's perfectly fine, he replies. Okay then. I'll see you at 7. Priya's voice sounds normal. Why did she change the plan? It still makes him wonder. But then he feels maybe it's a better place to propose to her. It would be far more cozier than a restaurant. Or is it that Priya herself wants to make the first move, propose to me? Oh my God, is it coming from her? Is that why she chose to have dinner at home, where she would be comfortable proposing to me? Is she falling in love with me more than what I think it's from my side? Varun is overjoyed. He reads Priya's invitation for dinner at her home as a sign of her realizing her love for him. He couldn't have expected things to take this turn. Varun walks across to Priya's home, beaming with happiness. As Varun waits outside Priya's door, his mind races with a million thoughts, none of which could prepare him for what was about to unfold. When the door finally opens, it's Aarav who greets him. Aarav. Varun's heart sinks. He hadn't expected to see Aarav back so soon, but he covers up his disappointment, forcing a smile as Aarav pulls him into a hug. Thank you, Varun. Thank you for being there for Priya through all this. Aarav says gratefully, oblivious to the turmoil brewing inside Varun. Then in a hushed tone, Aarav drops a bombshell. I know who's been trying to destroy my marriage with Priya, Varun. Varun feels the ground shift beneath him, his thoughts screeching to a halt. Could Aarav have discovered his secret? It all started when Aarav showed up at Priya's office unannounced on the very evening Varun had invited her to dinner. Priya had been hesitant to see Aarav, still hurt and distrustful, but Aarav persisted, breaking down in front of her. He confessed his mistakes, apologized for his harsh words, and then revealed that he had uncovered the identity of the person who was orchestrating their misery. Priya, who had always loved Aarav despite everything, felt her heart soften. She was ashamed for ever doubting him, for ever thinking he could betray her. Now back at Priya's home, Aarav shares with Varun the name of the person responsible. Gaurav Agarwal. Varun's breath catches. He's safe. Aarav continues explaining that Gaurav, a colleague from work, had set up the entire Shivani Mishra trap to ruin his life. The rivalry between Aarav and Gaurav had simmered since Aarav was promoted over Gaurav, who had been caught using a fake social media account for personal vendettas. The demotion and loss of clients had left Gaurav bitter and vengeful, and now Aarav was certain that Gaurav had masterminded the honey trap with Shivani Mishra to destroy his career and personal life. A wave of relief washes over Varun. His secret is still safe, and Aarav is none the wiser. But as Aarav and Priya, now reconciled and closer than ever, ask for Varun's help in exposing Gaurav, Varun's world crumbles. His carefully constructed plans are now reduced to rubble. Rage boils within him, driving him to smash objects in his house as his mind reels from the devastation. How can this happen? How can such a meticulously crafted plan fail? He fumes, unable to grasp how he came so close to having Priya, only to lose her in the end. The thought of Aarav managing to reclaim Priya fills him with bitter frustration. How the hell does Aarav get her back into his life? This is not done. This is not destiny. So close, yet so far. Varun finds himself on the brink of despair. As if this failure isn't enough, Varun is bombarded by frantic calls from Anushka's parents, panicking over her disappearance. Varun beta, we are unable to reach Anushka. Her phone is off. This Manish too, he's not talking properly. He has also switched off his phone. Anushka's parents cry over the phone. Despite his inner turmoil over losing Priya, Varun knows he has to play the role of the distraught husband for Anushka's parents. He channels his despair over Priya into a feigned heartbreak for Anushka, convincingly portraying himself as a man shattered by the news of his wife's sudden disappearance from Bangalore. Papa, this is shocking. I always knew this Manish was not the right person for Anushka. Now I fear he has done something to her. Oh God, I should have forcibly stopped Anushka from going to Bangalore. But what could I do, Papa? You know Anushka better than me. She's so stubborn. I hope this Manish has not done something to Anushka. Varun cries over the phone. He has set off Anushka's parents against Manish very cleverly. Varun beta, do you think we should go to the police? This Manish, he could harm her. Anushka's parents are distraught. Yes, Papa. I think I am of the strong opinion that you should file a police complaint. It's only right that you do it, not me. If I do it, this Manish would try to turn everything onto me. Please go ahead, Papa. File a police complaint. I am with you. Varun reassures Anushka's parents. Though he has successfully played his cards for now on the Anushka front, he is terribly upset with Priya getting out of his grasp. He now starts wondering what next move should he make on the Priya front. But even before Varun can think of anything, trouble comes in from the least expected quarter. Shivani Mishra, a cunning woman. Shivani has pieced together the truth. Anushka is Varun's wife. She has discovered. You know what, Varun? I think you have killed Anushka Kashyap, your wife. Varun is stunned hearing that. Well, it doesn't matter to me. I just put two and two together, and my instinct tells me that you sent me on this Bangalore trail messages to Manish, not answering his calls, was all to create a digital footprint of Anushka's travel. Whereas I think you killed her here in Ahmedabad. Am I right? Shivani corners Varun. He's tight-lipped. Okay, so your silence speaks a lot. By the way, it doesn't matter to me what you've done, Varun. Shivani teases him. I'm not going to say a word to anyone. Her words now start making sense to Varun. She's blackmailing him. You see, Varun, what you're paying me is all fine. Those are just charges to do your job. But you know, to hide a murder, to keep quiet about it, I don't know, Varun, whether my conscience will agree to it. She further plays her card. Your conscience. Don't bullshit me, Shivani. Since when did you find this thing called conscience inside you? Shivani laughs. I just found it yesterday, Varun, after I discovered that Anushka is your wife. But let me tell you, I don't know what to do with this conscience. It's not going to buy me a house, a car, or anything I desire. So are you going to blackmail me? Varun senses what Shivani is getting at. Please don't use the word blackmailing. It sounds cheap. Call it a one-time purchase or lifetime purchase. No subscription business. 25 lakhs, one-time payment. Shivani makes her demand very clear. Varun has no choice. He has to get back to Priya. He has to ensure that Manish is trapped in Anushka's case. He can't afford to leave any loose ends like Shivani. He agrees to Shivani's demand. He can somehow raise the money Shivani is asking for, breaking all his savings. He also has access to Anushka's accounts. But then, how does he win Priya back? That thing bothers him a lot. How do I drive Aarav out of her life again? What do I do to make her hate Aarav? What do I do to Aarav so that there is no scope left of his coming back to her life? Varun grapples with what next can he do to achieve his mission. Priya. Do I kill Aarav? The thought is born into his mind. I have succeeded in doing it with Anushka. But who will I pin the blame of Aarav's murder on? He wonders. Varun's mind is working overtime to devise a plan to get rid of Aarav. On the other side, Shivani is waiting for him to pay her and find a way back to her life in Delhi. Shivani, he mutters to himself. He looks again into the mirror. Brilliant, Varun. Brilliant. He congratulates himself on the plan that has now come into his mind. Kill two birds with one stone. Yes. Get rid of the thorns in your path, Varun. Get rid of it. It will work. After 2 days of intense contemplation, Varun devises a plan. One final calculated move that will eliminate all his problems in one go. You will get your money tomorrow, Shivani. But before that, you need to do one last thing for me. Varun tells her. And what is the last thing? It better be the last thing because I need to get my life going, Varun. Your mission Priya, mission Anushka, this has taken a lot of my time. Shivani responds. This is the last thing I will ever ask of you, Shivani. Just shift out of the lodge where you're staying. You will check into another lodge. I will give you the address of the new lodge. Suspicion flickers in Shivani's eyes as she wonders what exactly Varun wants her to do. Just shifting from one lodge to another. Is that it? For now, just do that. The rest tomorrow morning. The final favor I'll ask of you. Shivani shifts into the new lodge, an obscure one that Varun has asked her to move into. This new location is going to be the stage for Varun's next move, the decisive move. The next morning, Varun arrives at the lodge before dawn, slipping in unnoticed. Shivani is startled to see him so early, but Varun is calm, methodical. He instructs Shivani to call Aarav. Shivani is puzzled. Why do you want me to call Aarav? What do you want me to tell him? Tell him the truth, remarks Varun. Tell him that you are the Shivani Mishra who trapped him in Delhi. Tell him that you are willing to expose the man behind this entire honey trapping. Ask him to come here to the lodge if he wants to hear the truth. Shivani is puzzled. What do you intend to do, Varun? Nothing. I want to get Aarav out of Priya's life. That's always been the mission. It's just the next move in that direction. Shivani makes the call. Aarav is on his morning jog when he receives the call from Shivani. He's shocked. Who the hell are you, Shivani? Is it Gaurav from my office who sent you after me in Delhi? Aarav asks. Come over to this place, Aarav. I will tell you the entire truth. Shivani responds. No, I'm not coming anywhere. You can tell me over the phone whatever it is. I would if I could, Aarav, but I can't. I'll wait for you. If you don't come, then I would like to tell you that you're making a big mistake. It's going to ruin your life, ruin everything. That's the ultimate goal of this person who wants to wreck your life. Shivani cuts the phone. Aarav is wondering what should he do. He meets Shivani again. What if there is another trap set for him? It does cross his mind. But he's also eager to nail Gaurav. And that can happen only if Shivani tells him, how did Gaurav trap him in Delhi? Aarav decides to go to the lodge and meet Shivani. As Varun waits at the lodge with Shivani, he knows Aarav will come. What exactly do you intend to do when Aarav turns up here, Varun? I'm sure you're not going to face him and tell him that you are the one ruining his and Priya's life. So what am I supposed to tell him? Asks Shivani. Varun just smiles. There is nothing he needs to be told, Shivani. Then what? Shivani now suddenly realizes that the plan could be something else. Varun, are you planning to kill Aarav here? She asks, fear creeping into her voice. Varun smiles but says nothing. Aarav arrives at the lodge, the manager directing him to Shivani's room on the second floor. As Aarav reaches Shivani's room, he finds the door ajar. He rings the bell and waits. There is no response. He finally pushes open the door. There is no one in the room. But there is a sound of running water. It's coming from the bathroom. Aarav moves into the room, walking towards the bathroom. He knocks on the bathroom door. It's not locked. It swings open. What he sees inside stops him cold. Shivani's naked, lifeless body is slumped under the tap, water pouring over her still form. Aarav is paralyzed with shock. Meanwhile, Varun walks away from the lodge, his heart beating steadily. The next move in his mission made. Will this be the final move in his plan to get Priya?